Welcome to the Sideline. I'm Andy Katz. Well, this is going to be a home for a lot of original content in college sports and beyond. Now, of course, you're going to get a lot of that similar content that I produce for NCAA platforms, Big Ten Network, and other places. But I needed a home for a lot of those interviews with the newsmakers in this space. So where are you going to find it? Right here at the Sideline. Let's get to it. And welcome everyone to an off-season chat with Tommy Lloyd, the head coach of the University of Arizona men's basketball team and a gold medal winning coach, winning the gold U19 in Switzerland. I want to start there, Tommy. Your passport's been stamped more times than most, but this was your first time as a head coach winning a gold medal. Am I correct?
Second, actually.
Oh, second? As the head coach?
Last year we did the U18s.
Oh, U18s. Okay, I'm sorry.
In America. And so, but you know what? Let's call it. It was my first stint. So it was kind of a two-year mission, 2-year plan that we were kind of on. So yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Wait, first gold abroad.
No, because we won the first one in Argentina.
Okay, first gold in Europe.
24 and 25. No, first world championship.
Okay.
This was the world. So
all right.
So it was the FIBA U18 Americas in 24.
Okay.
And in 25 it was the FIBA U19 Worlds. So
right.
It was an awesome experience. And you know what? This is one thing I've learned. It's great coaching when almost all of your players are better than all of their players. So we had an awesome group of young men, and Michael Brooks did a great job. Jim Chuley and Sean Ford have done an amazing job with USA Basketball. It's a first class organization that honestly goes under the radar, and it's really important to our basketball culture overall. And so my I guess takeaway is anybody that ever has a chance to be involved with USA Basketball needs to drop everything and wrap their arms around that opportunity. It's a special experience and something I'll always cherish.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think people only think of the Olympic team as in the men's national team or the women's national team. And they don't think about the feeder system, if you will, the world championships that happen at the, I hate to say lower level, but just younger level, which you sort of have to start that process. And the coaching that goes on globally here with the United States and abroad. Mark Few, your former mentor, he's been heavily involved. He was an assistant on the Olympic team. When did you realize that, yeah, this is something I want to get involved in at the highest level?
Well, for me, it goes back 20 years. I was, like you said, my passport has been stamped. I was traveling a lot, going to a lot of these FIBA events, recruiting, for over the years. So I've probably been to 50 different, FIBA European championships, U18s, U19s, U17s, U20s over the years. And so I think for me, it was always, it was really cool being there and watching. But there was always a side of me, a part of me that wanted to be on the other side and actually coach one of those teams and be involved. And, a couple of years ago, Sean and Michael Brooks approached me and asked me if I'd be interested. And for sure, I mean, it was an easy yes. Now it is a heavy lift. It's a month away from your family and your staff and your team. You're basically, taking 30 guys who are really talented, and they cut from 30 to 12, and you're dealing with really young talented guys that have never been cut, and the crazy thing is a lot of the guys that end up getting cut still play in the NBA. And just so when you talk about just a feeder system, they've done a really good job at the youth levels of identifying young players and helping them understand the value of USA Basketball and creating ownership. And we were going through, when you're on these journeys with these players, there are meetings, there are conversations, like, hey, let's follow the career of Tyrese Halliburton, of Jason Tatum. And those guys have been involved in USA Basketball from 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s, and then now they make the senior team. And I think that's something that's really cool, because the one thing about USA Basketball, you are definitely representing something much bigger than yourself, but you got to check your ego at the door and sacrifice literally is the price of admission because no one is going to go out and shine like maybe they would with their college or their NBA team. And so, it takes a really group of special guys that go that are willing to make that sacrifice for their country and to be involved in something much bigger than themselves.
You brought up an interesting point that I think years ago, when there wasn't that summer access, I mean, I'm going back decades, obviously, but still, it wasn't as big a sacrifice if you were a head coach because your team wasn't even on campus,
Yeah.
in the summer. And now they are. So now you are really away from your group. And so that is something that people obviously have to take in consideration. Every coach I've talked to that has done this, who they're with. I mean, you're with these competitors, one of which is in your league, and Grant McCaslin at Texas Tech, Micah Shrewsbury from Notre Dame. But this can be a great sort of learning experience of being sponges off of each other in terms of, taking a little this, a little that. Like, what did you learn working with Grant and Micah?
Well, I mean, first off, we developed great friendships, and Grant and I had known each other for a long time. So, obviously that came naturally. And Micah is just such a great guy, and had so much fun being around him, his stories, his knowledge. From being at Butler when Butler first kind of burst onto the scene, which was amazing. I mean, I remember playing against those guys and was like, wow, this is different. To him being in the NBA for a number of years, then working with Matt Painter at Purdue, and then becoming a head coach on his own journey. Just great dudes, and I mean, we're literally together, 24/7. You're with these guys for weeks upon a time, and talking about the task at hand, the team we have, which was always the number one objective. But then, of course, you're talking about everything else basketball wise and exchanging stories. So just developed great, friendships that'll be lifelong relationships, that I'll always cherish.
All right. Players who are going to be in college or are in college. Can't talk about high school guys. Give me a couple thumbnails of players that you coached this year. What you think, especially one of which will be in your league.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, well, why don't you rattle them off? You rattle off the player, then I'll give you my thoughts right off the top of my head.
All right. AJ DeVance obviously will be at BYU. He'll be a competitor.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Great kid. Just obviously, the talent speaks for itself, but what was really impressive with him is just how he's confident enough in himself and such a good person. He wants his teammates to be successful too. Like he's a really talented player, but he leaves room for others to be the best version of themselves as well. And just a really unique skill set for an 18-year-old kid.
Daniel Jacobson was supposed to have, a major impact on Purdue, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
But then he's able to play for you this summer, help win a gold. Your thoughts on him?
Awesome kid, awesome story. He was, I mean, kind of how it works is, obviously he plays for Matt Painter, who's done, as good a job with big guys as anybody. And, he loves, playing in the 7 foot plus category. I went to an open gym, at Brewster where he was, played high school. I remember, going through, because we were recruiting another kid there who's on our team now, a kid named Dwayne Aristode. So we're recruiting Dwayne, and I go up there and watching him play open gym, and I'm watching this kid, and I'm like, what country is that kid from? I'm assuming he's some European kid or something, and they're like, he's from New Mexico. I'm like, that's not a country, that's a state. So then we dug in it, and obviously he's from New Mexico, and then I kind of remembered, oh, that's right, there was a big kid from there, and we figured out his date of birth, and so we asked him, Matt, Painter, who was kind of running a lot of the youth things for USA Basketball, 2 years back, invited him to tryouts, and the kid, literally came out of nowhere in the tryouts and made the team. And so it was a really cool story. It was, he kind of burst on the scene, and from a kid who was, just trying to find his way, and and Purdue saw a lot of potential in him, but he really hadn't shown that he was an elite player yet. Just kind of happened really fast for him, and then he got injured at Purdue, so he kind of sat the year out, and then coming into the U19 deal, it's a monster, and he kind of was slow to start in tryouts, and over the course of of the training camp and the tournament, he got better and really impacted the deal. And I think he's going to have a big impact on Purdue's program going forward.
Merez Johnson played last year at Illinois. Will be playing at
Yeah.
Michigan, staying in the Big Ten. What do you think of him?
I mean, Rez is a beast, and he's a great kid. I think it's a great lesson, and his story needs to be told a little bit. He kind of the year before his U18 year, he was injured a lot of tryouts, and he came in with pretty heralded, but I'd never seen him play, and then so he kind of we just kind of told him like, hey, you gotta like practice and show something if you're going to make this team. So he kind of made the team 2 years ago as the 11th or 12th guy. And and then over the course of the tournament, like he became really valuable and one of the first guys off the bench and played well. And he goes to Illinois, has his freshman year, transfers to Michigan, and then he kind of reaches out to us and says, "Hey, I think I'm going to pass on the U19s this year. I just want to work on my game." And I was like, we need this guy because this guy's a great FIBA player and he's a winner. And so we kind of doubled back and reached out to him and talked to his coaches, and so he reconsidered and came out, and I think he had a great experience, and I think it showed really well. To me, I mean, I get being in the gym by yourself, but there's also nothing like putting yourself in a crazy competitive environment, in a real short window, and figuring out where you're at. And I hope Merez had a great experience and came out with more confidence and belief in himself than he had before because he was awesome. I mean, he was a real force, over the course of those 7 games that we played.
Michael Brown heading to Louisville.
Michael Brown,
Michael
special.
Brown, excuse me.
Yeah, special. I mean, he's going to be one of the best point guards in the country. He's a winner. He's a worker. He's talented. He's got character. I mean, he's a complete package. So just really impressed with him as a person and as a player. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch him this year. I think college basketball is going to be in for some eye-popping moments because he's electric.
Jasper Johnson, Kentucky, correct?
Yeah, Jasper is awesome. I mean, Jasper, is really talented. Can really score the ball. And just, it was really cool. Just, I wasn't around Jasper other than USA Basketball, but just seeing his maturity as a player and a person, not that he was immature before, but you could really just sense and feel the growth, in a year's time in him, and just a real quality person. And I know he's a Lexington boy, through and through. And so Kentucky got a good one. I mean, he's going to have some great games for them, and just he's going to be a great representative of their program.
JJ Maniquit is heading to Washington,
Yeah.
likely to be their point guard.
Yeah, JJ, really impressed me. Just true winner, and really embraced his role with us, and brought toughness and grit. A little bit of that Hawaiian vibe to the court, and I love that. Yeah. I mean, no doubt about that. And just I mean, he's a no BS guy. Yes sir, no sir. He's going to do what the team needs, and he brings a real toughness that impacts winning. And it was really fun. I'd never been around JJ much until this U19 run we had, and just came away ultra impressed.
Wait, did I forget any of the other college guys?
I think one. I think he plays here. Koa Pete.
Yes, thank you.
Koa, obviously he's going to play for us here, and it was honestly my first time really being on the court with Koa. Obviously we'd recruited him for a couple years, and he's a guy in our backyard, and just Koa has the highest character imaginable for a young guy. And I'll share a story. I think you think that just because I think it speaks volumes about him as a person. We're at tryouts. It's Father's Day. I think so. Was that like on June 14th or something this year?
Yep.
I think that was our first tryout. That's the only day
Yep.
I remember. The only reason I remember Father's Day was our first day of tryouts. And we have 30 kids there that are finding their way. We have a staff. We have court coaches. We have a selection committee. There's a lot of people in the gym, and we go through the first practice, and all the kids have flown in that day, and whatnot. So we get through the practice. You're just trying not to get anybody hurt, trying to get the blood flowing a little bit. We kind of come together at the end of the practice. I'm probably saying one or two things, and we'll break, and everybody will go their own ways for dinner and stuff. And And Koa says, Coach, can I say something? And I said, for sure. And he just said, hey, on behalf of all the players in USA basketball, we want to thank you coaches for being here for Father's Day because we understand the sacrifice you guys are making being away from your family. And I'm like, wow, like who told him to say that? And I know nobody did because I've gotten to know Koa, but that's his character. I mean, his care for others, his it's an awesome combination of just a person with a huge heart and just great character, but a ferocious competitor on the court. I mean, he's a warrior, and I mean, he's a heat-seeking missile. He's this dude seeking contact, playing through contact, and obviously we're really excited to have him here at Arizona. But more importantly than that, I think he's the first four-time gold medalist in FIBA basketball history, I think. We don't have to check that, but I think he's pretty sure like he's FIBA
That'd be
history.
U19, U18,
Yep. U19, no. U19,
right?
U17 twice.
U17.
Because
Okay.
he played U17s as a 15-year-old and then U16s.
Okay.
So, last summer I tried talking him into getting the fifth because I wanted him to play U18s as well, but that would have been a heck of a summer. I mean, he would have had a double dip and it was my first time last summer going through one of these FIBA tournaments, and man, it takes a lot out of you. So I understand why he didn't want to do two of them back to back. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
last guy, hey, Nick Kamina. We can't forget my guy Nick Kamina going to Duke. Nick is just an awesome story. He got a family. They're from Belarus. He's first generation. He's been living out in Southern California, and Duke has the highest level competitor and character combination. I mean, he's on target with Koa. With that type of stuff, and just he did a great job. He kind of. There's a lot of guys that have to make sacrifices with opportunities and minutes, and he kind of got bounced around a little bit, maybe game to game. But man, he performed in every big moment. He performed and he made a huge shot, actually maybe the biggest shot of our whole tournament against Canada when Canada kind of was battling. He made a three from the left corner, and I don't even know if we played him in the first half. So for him to have that competitive character to do that showed a lot, and I know he wanted more, as everybody did, but he handled it with class, and it speaks volumes to him as a person, and just really thankful for his contributions he made to the USA basketball the last 2 years, and now he's a three-time gold medalist as well because he won one of the 3-on-3 competition. So just got a great future ahead of him.
all right. Last couple of things, and I want to get to Arizona real quick here. Obviously, there are obviously other college players, so don't make me name them all. Just who stood out to you who will be
Yeah.
playing in the NCAA next year on other countries.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, Germany obviously has has probably a
Christian
handful of
Anderson
them. Yeah, Christian Anderson, I mean, a really good player. I mean,
going
obviously
to
we knew
Texas
how
Tech
good
or
he
playing at
was.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, we knew how good he was going into the competition because we played against him, and then obviously, Grant was familiar with him. Washington got a great young big guy, in this Hannes, I think it's Steinbeck kid.
Yep.
I
Also
mean,
Germany.
yeah, really good player. I mean, really good, talented big guy. I mean, UConn got the I think the Rubel or Roybal kid, whatever, the left-handed kid, 7-footer. I mean, he played really good against us in the final. Had a great stretch in that second quarter. Texas got a kid named Declan Duru from them. That's a really good athletic 3-4. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of talented players. And then a lot of these other teams. Canada obviously had some really good players that are getting recruited. Just this is an impressive young deal. Serbia has a few kids coming over here, and yeah, I mean we know. I mean it was a crazy offseason with the NIL and the rev share stuff. I mean there's going to be an influx of maybe more experienced international kids than we've had before. And the NCAA, rightfully so, has kind of lightened up on some of the old amateurism rules. And so some of these guys that, may have, had contracts before or, on lower level contracts are being
And
allowed to
Casper
play.
Jakachunas played professionally before he came to Illinois.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, no question. There's a lot of these guys. So like, no, I mean, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how it goes. Now I will say this. I always put a little caveat. I've recruited a lot of international guys, and not every one of them's been a home run. So I mean, it's still gonna take some time for these kids to transition over to playing the NCAA style, being coached by American coaches. Playing with our officials. There's just a lot of changes. Just like the same adaptations, our young American players have to go through playing a FIBA game. These kids have to come over here playing the American game. So, I wouldn't, like, I'd say all these kids are going to be successful. So put that type of pressure on them. I would just say, hey, give each kid a little bit of space, let them develop on their own, give them time to adjust, and then, hey, and then over the course of the season, I think a lot of them will be successful, but it might take a little bit more time than everybody and every fan base is expecting.
Coaching. It's all the influx of the players. You've seen these coaches. Now you coached against them the last 2 years. What has impressed you the most about some of these international coaches?
Just this the way they approach team basketball. They're really adept at movements and reads and flow. Their players don't play a scripted game. I mean, there's a methodology to it that there's techniques, there's passing, there's movement, there's reads. It's just not like A to B. And I mean, just been impressed with those guys, you know, uh, over time, and then hopefully they're watching us and learning a little bit. I think the combination of there's so many good coaches in the U.S. right now, so many good coaches in college and in the pros. That I mean I've been impressed because I have been going over to Europe for 25 years, so I kind of was maybe saw the early stages of how basketball was going to be played in the future. Because how it's being played here in the U.S. now, the team basketball, maybe not the club setting, the AAU setting as much, but like, and maybe not even the high school setting, but in the colleges, in the pro game, is much more attuned to how the Europeans were playing 8, 10, 12, 15 years ago. So our game has really kind of grabbed some of their concepts and made them mainstay. When I played back in the day, it was Bobby Knight motion, flex offense, on the line, up the line defense, things of that nature. I mean, no one ball screen coverage. I mean, the only thing you did is maybe you hedged. There was no complexity to ball screen coverages. And now, the game is definitely playing much more of a flow, much more of a ball screen, pace oriented, ball movement oriented. So, I think we got to give our coaching brothers internationally a lot of credit for that. But I think what the Americans have done, I think they've taken it to a different level, where we've combined the athleticism and the force, of some of our players into some of that style. And I think it's been a really powerful combination.
All right, no better coach to ask this of. 5 countries, if I need to go visit, give me your top 5 places to visit.
Okay, well, let's just go. We're gonna go recent. Okay, a couple of recent places here.
Okay.
The southern coast of Spain is amazing. Like we just
Are you
after the
talking about like
USA
Sevilla or further south?
further south,
Okay.
more Malaga.
Okay.
Malaga, Marbella. Have been fortunate. We got a good family friend who's got a place in between Malaga and Marbella, and a little beach town called Torremolinos. So
Okay.
love that. I mean, so it's the southern coast of Spain, getting down there, beautiful, great, great. Prices make sense. Everything's good, really cool, good food, good culture. The southern coast of France is amazing. In the summer, like you go there and it's really, really cool. That the European beach vibe is something. So I really enjoy that. Then so this summer we did Spain. Last summer we did the Algarve, which is the
Yep.
southern
I've been
part of
there.
Portugal.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Water's a little cold,
Yes.
but like the beaches are like literally one of them is as a screensaver on Microsoft's deal. You know what I mean? It pops up all the time. Then we did also did the southern coast of France. I think the summer before that we went to Sardinia. It's the little island out in the middle of the Italian island in the middle of the Mediterranean. I mean, you're talking like white sand beaches, crystal clear water, with great seafood and Italian food. I mean, it's a heck of a combination. So that's 4 places, right?
Yep.
And then let's drop in Dubrovnik.
I,
Dubrovnik
I,
in
I was waiting to
Croatia.
see if you were going to go in that part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dubrovnik. It's amazing. We did Dubrovnik with my wife and my youngest daughter. Really cool and great. And then we were on our way to Crete. Crete has become kind of a FIBA hub. Every summer Crete, has host some sort of a European U18, a U17, a U19 World, a U20. I think they just did the U20s. So like I've gotten to go to Crete like a handful of times, and it may not be quite as like luxurious as the other Greek islands, but it's a really cool little vibe, and I've really enjoyed. I mean, hey, it's pretty cool being able to go watch basketball games and hang out. And the next thing you know, you're on the beach with spending 2 euros and they put a cold beer in your hand. I mean that's not a bad little takeaway from your job. Yeah, I love going over to Europe. I wish more people from the U.S. got the chance to go over there and just saw life lived a little bit different pace, a little bit different way. I think it'd be great perspective for everybody.
And did you enjoy Switzerland?
I did. I really enjoyed Switzerland.
Expensive
Other
though,
than
right?
like, huh?
Expensive.
Very expensive. Like, man, I mean, me, my wife, my daughter, and her boyfriend went out to just a pizzeria. Like, no, we're not talking anything crazy. I think it was like $315 and like crazy. I don't even think we had drinks or anything. It was just crazy. Like, so hey, they must be doing something right there because everybody was out eating. So I mean, there obviously is a lot of money running through that place. But yeah, great country, clean, organized. Just we need to step up our AC game. We need to step up
Okay.
our air conditioning game because it's man, it's muggy and those rooms just held heat and like I told you, I was taking 5 showers a day, sweating through everything, and USA Basketball did a great job. I think we might need to get a tax receipt, kind of as a write off from that university we were at because I think we probably left 50 to 70 fans and a couple air conditioning units because we just went up with USA Basketball went up and we bought every fan available within like a 20-mile radius, just to kind of keep us cool.
All right, that's Tommy's European vacation. Let's go quickly. The team at hand. I was with you guys in Seattle, and then Newark. So I saw the progression toward the end. You guys were right on the doorstep of maybe, who knows, maybe making that run to the Final Four. You're right there to beat Duke. Caleb Love obviously was, a bucket getter, stat stuffer. Who's the guy this year that you can say, you know what? If he gets us 20, 25 on a given night, that could happen.
Well, listen, first off, I feel like we've built a great foundation, and I think we're ready to make a sustained effort at some of these deep runs in the tournament. I like what we've done. Obviously, you always want a little bit more, but I think we've hopefully put the right pieces in place, long term to take that swing every year. I don't know if it's a guy that I'm going to say is going to score 20 to 25 every night, but listen, Jaden Bradley is going to be our leader. He's a senior point guard. He's been through the battles. He's a really good player. He's a great individual. He's a great teammate. And we're going to count on him. You know what I mean? Like, JB is a guy who, he came in, he went to Alabama, McDonald's All-American. Like a lot of these kids, it didn't come easy, had to kind of bide his time at Arizona a little bit. But you know what? He never complained. He continued to work any role he was asked to play. He played it to the best of his abilities. And what he's did is what's really cool. He's earned an opportunity to be the leader on a really good team. And so I'm thankful that we have him here. But yeah, he's going to be our leader. We have some other returning players that obviously we're really going to count on.
You've always been
Tobe
high in
Awaka,
Krivas.
huh?
You've always been high in Krivas.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tobe Awaka too. Tobe
Yep.
obviously he's anybody that's played against Tobe knows what's coming. He's a
Yep.
beast. He plays incredibly hard. We have Anthony Del Orso who's coming back for the second year in our program, and he made some really good contributions to us and really grew over the course of the season and has continued to grow and develop. And then Mo Krivas, I mean, Big Mo, from Lithuania, he was a heralded recruit who came in and had a good freshman year for us, and then
Well,
unfortunately
but
just
people
wasn't healthy
forget he got
last year.
hurt.
Yeah, but then he didn't hurt. He wasn't even at 100% when we were trying to get him going, and then he obviously, suffered a foot injury that ended his season, and so yeah, I think he's looking for a little bit of redemption this year, but on top of that, Andy, I think our staff did a great job, bringing in a recruiting class that's going to be able to make a real impact. I mean, I'm going to put our freshman class up there with anyone in the country. I mean, I think our freshmen, the contributions we're going to get from our freshmen this year, are going to be as good as any in college basketball, and it's a real steady group, a real mature group. So I think that's going to serve us well. I mean, we kind of pushed back our summer stuff because I was gone. You were talking about, making that sacrifice, and So, unfortunately, our guys are having to sacrifice maybe a little bit of their August, beach time and lake time, because we're kind of hitting it for 5 weeks when I'm back, and we're kind of just wrapped up the second week today, and we have 3 more good weeks of summer work, I'm really excited where we're at, and I'll just say. You think, man, going through USA basketball, like, are you tired? I mean, it re-energized me. I think, sometimes going and getting outside of your day-to-day deal, getting with other coaches, being in a different environment kind of helps, recalibrate you, re-energize you. And I'm as excited as I've ever been, heading into a season here at Arizona.
And to wrap it up, obviously you always schedule big time, and you did it again.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. We're excited. Right now I mean my mind's not going there. We're just trying to, start establishing the building blocks and building some of the habits and setting some of the standards, for things we think will allow us to be a good team. But yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously Todd had an awesome season last year at Florida. I mean, and won it all. And
And that's an opener in Vegas, November 3rd.
we're opening in Vegas with them, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I mean, I think it's great for college basketball. We'll see if it'll be great for Arizona, but we're gonna try to prepare to be up for that challenge, and then I think I don't know. Whatever, 8, 10 days later, we play UCLA in that annual Arizona UCLA matchup over in Intuit. So, we're excited about that. You know, we're thankful we got Auburn coming here, that starting off at home and home. We got to return a game to Alabama, to Birmingham. It's part of to finish up a neutral. We go to UConn as the start of a home and home. We got a really good San Diego State program, coming and playing us up in Phoenix and the Suns Arena. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. And then hey, for fun, let's just throw in a 18 game Big
Big
12
12.
gauntlet. But last year was a ton of fun. I mean, I know, of course, I didn't like starting out 4-5. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. But I think we learned a lot about ourselves, and we could take a punch, and I think that's an important part of sustaining a successful program is being able to take a punch, and then we bounce back, and to go be our first season in the Big 12, and we're right there. I mean, obviously Houston was, a notch above everybody else, and deservedly so. And we're all kind of, we're in Houston's rearview mirror right now, and we're all, looking to see if we can catch them. And it's a great challenge because I mean, they're doing an amazing job, and I'm excited for the challenge. I enjoyed being in the Big 12 and just playing in all those tough road environments, and it was fun. It was honestly a lot of fun. I mean, yeah. The night after or the next day after some losses probably isn't a lot of fun, but it's part and parcel of what we do, and I'm excited to give it another run this year.
Last question. You experienced it. We won't see the change yet in college basketball, but it could be coming. Quarters or halves?
That's a great question. I mean, we're a team that's always been able to get to the free throw line. So I my preference is, I don't care about the 20 versus 2 10s. I don't care about that. Biggest question for me is what are they going to do with the fouls? Do they reset at the quarter, or is it ongoing?
I think they would reset at the quarter.
So my deal is like, well, I really like going to the bonus on that seventh foul. Because to me, I think that serves our program well. Other programs might like, the reset at the quarter,
And by the way, that's the team reset, not the individual.
yeah, team reset,
Yeah.
team reset.
No,
Yeah, I
just so
mean,
everyone
yeah,
knows.
team fouls.
Yeah.
And but in FIBA, we talk about it. Our goal, was, it's probably a little ambitious, but our goal was to try to be in the bonus the first 5 minutes of each quarter. And if you could do that 2 or 3 quarters a game, it really serves you well. So, but I still think there's something cool about the one-on-one, like that college basketball has that, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with college basketball being a little bit different. What a quarter's at? Quarters might add a few in the clock scenarios, buzzer beating type things, because then, you go quarters. Okay, now are we advancing the ball? Like there's all these things that come with
Right,
it.
right,
So,
right.
like for me, like as a college coach, I'm like, advance the ball. Like your head's kind of like you just need to get used to it. It's just different. So, because you can advance the ball in FIBA in the last 2 minutes as well in some of those situations. So, yeah, I mean, great question. I mean, my preference would let's keep it as it is, but that serves my program well. And if the others decide something else, we'll adjust.
All right, Tommy. As always,
Okay.
appreciate you. Congrats on the gold.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. And as always, you can follow all our social media content at the Sideline with a K. Our content appears on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Instagram. Check out all the content at the Sideline with a K.